Hey guys, Super Retro Kid here. So what I'm doing today is I'm installing a blinky light win in my SNES front loader. Not in my SNES, in my NES front loader. What this does is it replaces the cartridge slot with a redesigned cartridge slot, and it replaces this mechanism with a solid mechanism that holds it so it just slides straight in. And if any of you have or had NESs, you know that these connectors are very faulty in that the pins will bend and they'll get dirty and people will boil them to make them work. And this mod called the Blinky Light Win is supposed to fix those problems. So what it not only does is it replaces the connector and makes it go straight in to be more reliable. It also has a Nintendo security CIC chip on it that kind of overrides the security handshake and makes it, just work. So what I've done so far is I've removed the 6 screws from the bottom, and then I've removed the screws from the heat shield. Then I took out the cartridge connector and the slot from the original one, and I put on the new cartridge connector from the Blinky Light Win and the new slot. And before I put this on, I took a Q-tip and some isopropyl alcohol and I just kind of cleaned the motherboard, the cartridge connector on the motherboard a little bit, and then I dried it off real well to make sure that it was going to not, have any erosion or anything. And at this point, what I was going to do was try putting the cartridge in and see how well it fits, because one of the big complaints with this mod is how hard it is to get the cartridges out. So I just put that in. Now I'm going to try to pull it out. And that was actually pretty easy. So what I saw online was the original version of the Blinky Light Win, version 1. People were putting it in and they were finding that it was like impossible to get out. And what I kind of experienced was, if you've seen my other video about this NES, this NES is a front loader that I purchased off of eBay from a seller named Ghost RGB, and he installed a Nintendo multi-out connector on it and made it so that it outputs RGB. He also did a cap replacement, and in my other video where I first show off this system, I was having a lot of issues with the cartridge slot reading games, and I ended up taking it apart and cleaning it and getting it working, and it's worked perfectly ever since. But I messaged Ghost RGB about this, and he said that he personally has a Blinky Light Win in his, and what he did, since he had one of the version 1s, he put a washer under the front legs of this bracket in here in order to kind of slant it up a little bit so that it would be easier to get the games in and out. Because I guess on the version 1s it really is like you got to take like a needle nose pliers or something to get them out. But this feels like it is very easy. And I did notice on my PCB, after reading some articles on Reddit, that they came up with a revised version of the Blinky Light Win to address this. And I saw that on the PCB of my cartridge connector it said version 2, so I'm pretty sure that I got the new improved version since I just bought this, and it just arrived today. So inside the box for the Blinky Light Win, I got the bracket, the new cartridge connector. It came with a couple stickers, this keep calm and don't press down, and also this Blinky Light Win square sticker that's actually pretty cool. I've seen some people put it like on the front right corner of their system. I don't know if I'm gonna do that, but it's a pretty cool sticker. It also came with some instructions that I haven't really bothered to look at yet, but I think I'm going to look at it when I power it on, because it looks like you have to do something to get the CIC chip like set up for NTSC or PAL or whatever. So I'm gonna look at that. The other thing you should know is when you replace this, when you put this bracket in place of the original loading mechanism, you have 2 screws that you don't use, so that's perfectly normal. So what I'm going to do at this point is put my heat shield, or put my RF shield back on. So I'm just going to get this into position. Okay, so my RF shield's back into position, and when I took it apart, I put the screws in their corresponding position, so I'm going to put all the screws back where they were. And my system hasn't been having any issues reading cartridges lately, so I don't know that I'm going to be able to show you any sort of big improvement. I just kind of wanted to show, you know, what comes with it, how it installs. Just kind of how cool it is. Because you don't want to be replacing that cartridge connector and boiling that cartridge connector. And rather just have it work. So I'm just replacing putting all the screws for the RF shield back on, so that I can have everything buttoned up. Okay, so I got 3 more over here. I'll just kind of turn this so you guys can maybe see. I don't know how good the light is in this room, but hopefully you guys can see what I'm doing. And this is a very easy mod. If you're into the NES and you know, and you're someone who's still playing it, like if you're playing the NES in any capacity, this is a mod that you definitely want to do. This Blinky Light Wind, it was only like $30, and all you need is a screwdriver. I'm being a little extra careful because there's all this, you know, this NES has been RGB modded and this and that, so it's a pretty good condition NES. But if you're someone who plays it, I would do this. Plus it's fun to mod stuff like this. Make it better than it ever was. Okay, so I'm going to put the top on. The top is 6 screws on the bottom to get the top on. They're all the same size, so I didn't bother keeping them straight. I'm just going to screw them in kind of a crisscross pattern. And I'm not using an electric screwdriver because I want to just do everything hand tight without stripping anything or anything. Just want to not over tighten stuff, because who knows how many times I'll end up opening this thing. I mean, right now I think I'm done, You know, it's got a cap. It's got it's got new capacitors. It's got the blinky light win. It's got an sRGB. But you never know. As soon as I get this together, I'm gonna hook it up to my Sony 20M4U over here and show you guys that it works. I'm not really gonna be able to demonstrate that very well, but since it already was working, but maybe I'll at least take you guys through the final steps of their instructions where they talk about configuring the CIC chip. So I haven't really seen anything on that, so I'm gonna have to read the instructions. Okay, I got them all. My 2 extra screws. Just gonna take this stuff off the table. This guy back on the bottom. Okay. Taking my HD Retrovision NES cable, speaker, controller, I have a triad power supply, which is, there's a Shmups forum where Firebrand X has all these triad power supplies and how to make them work with different systems. You can buy a modern low-cost power supply from DigiKey for your retro systems. So that's pretty cool. Okay, so I've got power, turn on the PVM. Make sure it's in frame. Yep. So I'm gonna put the cartridge in. That's perfect. I like that. Now let me read the instructions. Put back all screws and shielding. You should have 2 screws left over. Lastly, power cycle the system to change regions. Switch the system on and off. This is mostly for non-NTSC users as the initial region is NTSC. Each time you power cycle, the lockout chip will automatically switch to the next region. Once it detects the region of your system, it will remember the settings and you should be set for life. Up to 4 power cycles may be required to find the correct region. It cycles through the regions in this order: NTSC, PAL A, PAL B, Asia. This system is mostly for non-NTSC users. So since I'm NTSC, I don't think I have to do anything. So I'm just going to turn it on. And beautiful. Let's turn on my speaker.
OX in mode.
Let's play. Where's the Legend of Zelda? Legend of Zelda. Okay, that looks perfect. Let's turn it off. Take it out. Oh. Yeah, that's the fun part. Maybe that's why he had washers. It's kind of tough to get your finger underneath. Worked again. It's not that bad though. His washer, Joseph RGB's washer recommendation, maybe would be a good idea though. God, this is cool. Oh yeah, the system also has like a stereo audio mod. Because the original NES was strictly mono. That's kind of polarizing. I think some people don't like it. I like it. I think it sounds awesome. But I don't really know the difference. I don't know that I could tell the difference. I just know the music sounds cool. Pull it out one more time. It's not bad at all. If I can do it one-handed, it's not bad.
Powering on.
So this is Super Retrocade, and that's the Blinky Light Win. I definitely recommend it. It's only like $30 and seems to be pretty awesome and really easy to install. So if you're just getting into this, that's probably, you know, a really good place to start. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video and learned something.